helping bankers improve their sales conversations, marketing approaches, and sales leadership skills. This is Jack Rants Live. Buddy, and welcome to a very, very special edition of Jack Rants Live. As you all know, from a weekly basis, we bring out lots of wonderful guests. Most recently, my friend Susan Bell, the co-founder of Vertical IQ, along with Martin Wise, the CEO of RelPro. But last week we had Meredith Elliott Powell on, a great best-selling author. Eric Cook is coming up, and we've got some marvelous guests. But this is a really special Jack Rants Live because it's something very, very special to me. About 10 years ago, my great friend in the industry, Lance Kessler, called me, and I've known Lance for, 35 years. And Lance said, "Hey, we've got a retirement at Graduate School of Banking. Would you be interested in teaching for us?" And you know, I've done a lot of teaching over the years, 32 years at the ABA Marketing School, 18 years at Stonier, lots of state schools and things like that. So I was so pleased and proud that Lance called me, and I said, well, of course. And so I taught for Lance and continue to do that. Then my friend Bob Dye said, well, you teach for Lance, will you teach in the second year for me? And I did that, and now I'm on an elective program for Graduate School of Banking as well. So I'm in Madison for the first 2 weeks in August when we can actually be there. But then Kirby Davidson called and said, hey, would you be interested in helping us launch a specialty school? Because Graduate School of Banking has several specialty schools in HR and digital banking with my friend Eric Cook and lots of others. So I said, well, tell me about the school. And he said, well, we're thinking kind of like a sales and marketing school for community bankers. And I said, well, great. Well, here's the website of the Sales and Marketing School. This is our fourth year upcoming. We're very, very excited about it. We limit the program to 50 students. This year, it's October 4th through the 8th, and we are live. We are in class, and we're all so excited about that because for sales and marketing professionals from the Midwest and all over the country, from community banks, this is something that they are really striving to get better at and really looking for some guidance on. So we're very, very excited about it. And why am I doing this today? Because we have four very special guests to talk about the school, students that have been there, alums of the school, if you will. But one of the things I love to talk about is our faculty, because our faculty is second to none. These people are absolutely amazing. You want to talk about branding? There's nobody better in the country to talk about branding than our brand newest faculty member, Amber Farley from Financial Marketing Solutions. And along with her is my good friend, Eric Cook, who everybody in the country knows, and he's a digital marketing expert. So they're going to talk about digital and branding. Tom Hirschberger kind of hosts with me. He co-leads the school with me, and Tom's got several classes that he teaches in ROI and marketing research and lots of others. And then Lindsay Green talks to us about retail banking and her SWARM program down at Extraco Consulting. I take a day in the middle of the week, give everybody a break from marketing, and we talk sales. And we talk sales management and prospecting and LinkedIn and business development, and it's really exciting. And we end the school with the vice chairwoman of Village Bank up in Minnesota, Alicia Webb. And we actually start off the program with the business of banking and helping marketers get to know banking a little bit better. What a great school. The best part of the school, though, is the students. And I want to introduce, before Amber Hubbard brings them up today, I want to talk about these four amazing students. You're going to meet Aaron McCormick. Aaron is Senior Vice President of Branch Administration at MBank. You're going to meet Beth Siebert. Beth is Director of Marketing at FCN Bank in Indiana. Sean Mason is Senior Vice President of Border Bank up in Minnesota. And Kim Rampenthal is the Vice President of Business Development of Solutions Bank out in the western part of the state of Illinois. So Amber, bring them up, and welcome everybody. We are thrilled to have you with us today for a very, very special edition of Jack Rants Live. So what I wanted to start out by asking the typical question that, if I'm a CEO and you come to me and you say, well, I'd like to go to the sales and marketing school, my question is going to be, tell me why. Aaron, you're a real senior person at your bank. You lead kind of retail. Why did you decide to come to the school?
Well, that's a great question, Jack. And first, I just want to say thank you for letting me join today and representing the Graduate School of Banking, Sales, and Marketing. As I looked at my reasoning for why Graduate School of Banking, Sales, and Marketing School, first and foremost was a realization of needing to continually invest in yourself. And as you think about where do you go to invest in yourself, you want to really pick the premier schools for that. And to me, Graduate School of Banking was that premier school. But from a more personal level, being the senior executive here, responsible for retail banking for MBank, we went through 5 bank acquisitions over the course of 4 years. We went from a few $100 million to $1 billion+ bank in that period of time. And it was important for us to, really pay attention to how do we change what we do and how we do it from a sales and marketing, but also coaching and development perspective to be as successful as that big bank as we were a multi-million-dollar bank.
That's great. And you brought a couple of folks with you. I remember when you were at the school as well. So great to have you too, Aaron. So Sean, you came to the school, and you may have even had a special purpose in coming to the school. And I'll talk about that in a second. But why? Why you're up in northern Minnesota? Why did you come to the school?
Well, first of all, thank you for having all 4 of us on your show today, Jack. It's a pleasure to be with you. I asked our CEO for attendance at this school for the primary reason that no matter how seasoned of a marketer, communications, PR person you might be, things are changing so rapidly that we really need to ensure that we're investing in gathering the latest innovative, cutting edge knowledge that we can get. Things change so quickly. So whether you're a young person just graduating out of marketing, perhaps finance, and you've been out of college for a couple of years, I still think that type of person needs to go to this as well. So as a seasoned marketer, I thought, yes, I need to go. This is going to be really important, not only for my personal growth, but for the bank. And we were going through a brand refresh that we're just embarking upon too. And I think the timing for our bank to have me there was just really perfect.
And I'm going to ask Sean a question about that branding change in a little bit, because I think one of the things that I really like about the school is that the students and the faculty can kind of connect after school. And I know that Sean and a couple of the faculty members did that after one of the classes, and we'll talk about that in a second. Kim, one of the interesting things about this is when we started the school, we purposely named the school the Sales and Marketing School. Because if you think about it, ABA has done such a great job over the years of the ABA Marketing School. It's been around for over 50 years. And but yet, there wasn't a school that kind of put those two disciplines together. You're a vice president of business development at your bank. Why did you decide to come to the school?
Well, in my case, it was kind of a unique situation. I was very new at my bank. I was maybe 6 months on my job, and I had come to the bank from not banking, from a totally different environment, and was sort of recruited over by one of the VPs who saw that I had some business development related skills that they could use. But at the time, my bank had already planned to send 3 other people: the president at the time, Jeff Snyder, exec VP Jolene Bonesack, and our marketing director, Amanda Pierce. And so it was for them, it was a logical fit. Oh, it's like, we've got to have the sales arm as well. They really were interested in having the coordinated business development or sales and marketing effort. And then actually I heard, this is sort of our folklore in the organization, that they invited our president because if the exec VP knew that if we came back from here all fired up, we didn't want him to say no to our ideas. Like, we wanted him to come and sort of drink the Kool-Aid with us. So for me, it was really a part of their way of helping me. It's sort of a, what do you call it, rapid learning curve for me in my first year to get the opportunity to come here. So it fulfilled a couple of purposes.
Well, and Kim brings up a really interesting point. We've had this school for 3 years now, and as I mentioned, we limit it to 50 students, which allows for a lot of learning intimacy, which is great. But we've had a goodly number of students in each one of the 3 classes who, to your point, Kim, have had no banking experience before. And that's one of the reasons we start out with the business of banking, to kind of ground people into, well, you're in bank marketing or you're in sales, but understand, here's how the bank makes money. Here's some terms you should know. And I think it's a really important point that Kim makes. Well, I've saved Beth for last for a very particular reason, because Beth was my student at the ABA marketing school. Then she must not have known that I was an instructor. She decided to sign up for the sales and marketing school. Talk about the experience. Why did you do that, Beth? I mean, you'd been to the marketing school. It's a great school. Why sign up for our school?
Well, thank you again for letting me be on here, and all of us. It's truly a pleasure. I'll be honest with you, and just like Jill, I was very green to financial marketing. I used to work in the hospitality sales sector. So working for a bank now and having banker hours and banker holidays was something very, very new to me, and having to do marketing that has, obviously at that time we had the ABA school. So I went there, enjoyed a tremendous amount, got the confidence that I needed to be able to perform my job better. And then I remember that you guys came out with the sale. It's a year after ABA. I don't know if I can squeeze a little bit out of my CEO, but the second year we're getting ready to go through a merger. And I said, you know what? I saw this Tom guy at ABA. He's really good. I'd like to learn a little bit more from him. And actually, Eric Cook, he is our foreman for the bankers marketing section. I said, and I know I can learn a lot from him. I think you need to send me again. And my CEO is a component of education. He wants us to get our education because he knows things are ever changing. And he goes, well, I think this is good, then go for it. So as soon as he said that, I said, we're going. And I don't regret a minute. I enjoyed both of them. Got a lot out of both of them. And a lot of it is you learn stuff in the classes, but the breaks, the between, the going out to lunch and breakfast and dinners are invaluable too. So I'm very excited. I know 2020 threw us all off, but I'm very excited to see that's back in Wisconsin again this year.
Well, you were amazing student. You really were, and your desire, all 4 of you, and all of the students, desire to learn has just been phenomenal. Wow. But Beth brings up something really interesting, Sean. The atmosphere at the school is a very unique one in that because we limit it to so few students, it allows the faculty and the students to get to know each other over the week. It's held at the Fluno Center in Madison, Wisconsin, and on the 8th floor of the Fluno Center, there is it's called Study Pub. And so, Sean, two-part question here. First, talk about the atmosphere at the school. And you had a very special reason for going to the school, your branding refresh. And I think you got a lot when we kind of sat around the table up there at the Study Pub. I remember it very distinctly. And you kind of cornered Eric Cook and we're trying to get some information from him. And he's obviously the best of what he does. Talk about those two things, Sean. It was a unique experience for you.
Yes, and it was really an experience that truly benefited our bank. when we got to the school, the cool thing was all of the instructors, of course, already had that camaraderie between themselves. And they then projected that onto us and created such just a really comfortable atmosphere, Jack. You made us feel so comfortable, and not only with you, but with each other. So like Beth said, while there's so many things that are happening in the classes that we're learning and we're just soaking it all in, there's this other piece of the school, which is the relationship building. And for our bank, we were getting ready to launch into a brand refresh. It was October. Our brand refresh was going to happen the following June in 2020. The instructor said from the very beginning, Jack, I remember you saying this. Now, after class, we go to the study pub. In between classes, we go for little breaks here and there. We go for breakfast. If you see us, come sit with us. We are here for you. You want to have dinner with us? By all means, join us. So, of course, many of us, and Aaron, I know we played some pool up there on the study pub. We went upstairs and I cornered Jack and Tom and Eric. And I asked my CEO, do I need to get him sign a do not disclose? I was, I want to talk to these guys. These guys are so valuable. I just need to pick their brain. Make a long story short, we sat there for quite a long time. And what I had learned just from those discussions is it really kind of changed the path for us. We changed our name to Border Bank, but we weren't going to change our URL. But it was through those discussions when Eric asked the question, now you're doing this and this and this, but are you then moving to a .bank? And I said, well, tell me why. Because our IT director about a year before the brand refresh said, we should think about going to .bank. And I was thinking, oh yeah, that's just, a fad, whatever. Unfortunately, I kind of just, kind of brushed it off. But then when I got to that table at the study pub and started talking, I called our IT director the next morning. I said, oh, Leon, I said, you are so right. I'm so sorry. Your suggestion was like the suggestion out of the group of instructors. And I mean, you gave us design ideas and all kinds of really cool pieces of advice. The long story that I can make very short is the relationships built at the school and at the study pub are everlasting. And I don't even like to use the word vendor because vendor is so generic. I like to use the word partner. And Eric Cook from WSI is our partner now. He partners with us on so many things. I could go on and on, but I don't want to monopolize this conversation, Jack. But I can tell you that, yes, the classes are priceless. You're learning cutting edge, innovative information that changes all the time. The price for admission for me was the relationships and spending time with you and your colleagues.
Well, that's a great point. And I got to give a lot of credit to Tom Hirschberger because Tom is a real relationship guy. And over the past couple of years, we've decided through Tom that we want to make sure that we do kind of not annual class reunions, but fairly regular class reunions. And I know all of you have been on these, where we actually have a topic and we talk, and there may be 15 or 20 people on. Some people jump on, some people jump off. But I think it's that lasting relationship that you build with your students and with the folks that were at the school, Sean, that's really important. But Kim, you had and Aaron too, because you brought multiple people to the school. Kim, you especially had a very unique experience. I mean, you'll go down in history, your bank, the first bank to have four folks there. I'm curious as to what happened after class, because I got to believe that you would kind of get together and quorum, if you will, and talk about the day and how it might relate back to your organization. What was that like?
You mean like when school finished and we got back to our bank?
Or in the evening after school?
Or in the evening, oh, sure. Yeah, we had a lot of debriefs in the evening, for sure. Sometimes with just us four, but sometimes with other people because it was lots of fun to socialize and share ideas. One thing I can say is at the time that we attended in October 2018, they were already knowing that the bank needed to develop another strategic plan for the next few years. And then unbeknownst to me, I believe our president and exec VP knew that they were looking into acquiring another bank. And lo and behold, within a year or so, we announced an acquisition and then the merging of rebranding of our bank. I have to say that having a team of 4 people, especially in those specific roles at sales and marketing school, it kind of, I feel like it sort of mobilized our audacity, okay, to get a strategic plan and to go for it and to do what we need to do to grow our bank, because it was like we got like a toolkit to work with. And in fact, so we did acquire that other small bank and then rebranded in the last year roughly. And we've recently announced that we are acquiring another bank in our vicinity. We're in Northwest Illinois, in several small towns in Northwest Illinois. The trajectory for all that, it started there at sales and marketing school. Because then we came back from that and, specifically used some of the tools that we got I call it banker school, at banker school, to work our plan. We're having to revise our strategic plan now because we have merged and we're still growing, but this just launched us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting, Erin, because you've got Kim, who fairly new to banking. You've got Beth, who is still relatively new to banking.
Mm-hmm.
You're a veteran of this, and you've gone through several other schools. Comment on what you're hearing so far about this.
Well, first I'll add on to what Kim was talking about, because she attended with some fellow colleagues, and I did too. I brought along one of my marketing employees, and I also last year during the virtual school, one of my regional leaders I had go through the school. And I would say a couple things to, Sean talked about the enduring relationships, not just with students, but from the facilitators, yourself and Tom and others.
For sure.
It also really helped to develop strong partner relationships internally. So myself with my marketing team, myself being on the sales side of things, really helped to bring those two groups together and work more efficiently and effectively with. And having been a past student of the school and having a regional leader attend last year, it really brought everything back for me fresh, an opportunity. And I think that's the biggest thing. When I think about the school, there is just so much information that's shared, really not just from sales and marketing, but you talked about Mike Ware with the finances, the financials of banking, how a bank makes money. There's just so much information that's shared, and the school can do all that you want it to do. It really is up to the student as to all the information that's shared with you. How do you bring it back, and how do you deliver and execute on that? And what helped with myself and those that attended is that sending more allowed me to kind of relearn everything that I learned in the prior school, but it also elevated our baseline of knowledge. And because we were all talking the same language and we all understood the same vision, right? It was easier for us to execute on a lot of the initiatives that we learned in the school. And I would tell you that I believe the execution was much more successful because we had that higher baseline of understanding.
Yeah.
Well, that's the real key, isn't it? It's what you bring back from the school, not just the relationships, but if I'm a CEO, one of the things I expect is, okay, what can we do as a result of this? So Beth, what have you done? What's different now in your bank since you attended the marketing school?
I do more ROI to show them, hey, this is what's working and this is why it's working. And we're a bank that has been around since 1901, and some of our practices are still from 1901. So I've been trying, not to impart a whole bunch of change, but, just because we did it this way in the past doesn't mean it's profitable for our bank or is really working. And I was actually just called to the boardroom in January to kind of go over my marketing for 2021 and our strategic plan. And the board was very thankful that now they have numbers to go with it with an understanding versus like, oh, marketing's just out there. They just spend money like you wouldn't believe. And, you know, they don't know what they're doing. But when I can justify it, they're like, oh, okay. So yes, I see why we're doing this and why we need to do this. And it's allowed me to bring other programs in when I can say, hey, by doing this, by doing A, we're going to get B, which is going to get you to your bottom line. And let's face it, those board of directors just like the bottom line anyway. So anytime that I can prove to them, hey, I'm actually helping you, not just taking your money, is a win.
It really is. And all the CEOs and all the board members and all of you on this program, bottom line is really, really important. And that's one of the reasons why we brought Alicia Webb on at the end, because Beth got the opportunity to go see the board and present to the board. A lot of times bank marketing professionals don't. What ends up happening is some senior person says, give me your notes and I'll take it in for you. We don't want you to have to present. And what they're really saying is, we don't want you at the big kids table. Sean, I'm curious, you've always had a good relationship with your CEO, but talk about the big kids table. Have you been able to move more into that C-level thing as a result of this school?
Yes. In fact, I'm going before the board of directors next week to unveil a project that we just completed. And we learned about this project through the Graduate School of Banking digital banking schools from the Incredible Bank. They produced a playbook. We produced one. We just finished it. It comes hot off the presses in July. Our digital version we already have. The board of directors will see the digital version next week. So yes, we have been invited to the board of directors table on several occasions and very grateful for that. We have a very strong CEO in David Felch, very visionary, very supportive for continuing education. As his communications director, he truly trusts that when we need certain education, whether it be myself as a department head or other department heads and other employees within departments, he supports it wholeheartedly. So I think when you have a CEO like that, you do have the opportunity to have those conversations in the boardroom with the board of directors.
Great. And Beth, I think your bank, are you 500?
Actually, we just got to 700. We were almost 500 when we met, and then we did a merger. So yeah.
All right. So Beth is 700. Sean, how big is your bank?
We just became 860 million, and we have another branch opening in Fargo this fall, and looking at some other acquisitions that might be appropriate for our bank.
Okay, good. And Kim, your size now?
At the time we were in at sales and marketing school, we were at about 220 million. Now with our recent acquisition last year, we're over 300 million. But acquiring the bank we're going to acquire this next year will take us almost to 500.
Well, this is the exact reason that I wanted to ask the question, and I'm going to come right to Aaron in a second. But here we have 3 community bank marketing and sales professionals. And for those of you watching the show and you're thinking, okay, I'm a $150 million bank, I'm too small. I'm a $2 billion or a $3 billion bank, I'm too big. That couldn't be farther from the truth. There are people inside your organization, regardless of size, that can really help you. And if they can bring back some ideas and tools, your bank's going to go to the next level. Aaron, you are the largest bank represented. I have a 2-part question for you. Mm-hmm. How large is your organization? And if I was a banker and I wanted to attend this school, who am I? What positions would you recommend that would come to this school?
Okay, so first question is pretty easy. We're approximately 1.5 billion today. And as I think about who goes, there's just so many topics of discussion that come up through class. From a sales side of things, there's a ton of potential for regional leadership. Like I've sent my regional leaders that are responsible for the sales performance of the branches. marketing naturally being, whether it is, a marketing officer, a marketing manager, myself being senior leadership, leading the retail and also marketing here at MBank. Huge value in myself attending that. There were commercial loan officers that were in the meeting from a sales side of things. So, as you think about who could attend, there's probably more people in your organization that could benefit by attending the class than not. I think for the most part, most anyone that has a position that's touching a customer, is going to receive value from attending the school. It's sales and marketing, but it's so much more than that because it talks about digital marketing with Eric Cook, and you've got the finances of banking with Michael Ware. There's just so much to learn from the school. I would say, to answer your question broadly and not specifically, most anyone that's interested in furthering their personal development, contributing even more to your organization from a professional growth perspective would be a great consideration this end.
Well, Aaron started us off in a really good way because we're going to wrap this up by asking the other three of you why. Why attend this school? Give me an answer, Kim. Give me the Cliff's Notes answer. Why attend the sales and marketing school?
I would say that the best organizations of any kind, not just banks, but the organizations that can grow and evolve and survive are at heart learning organizations where they place a lot of value in the development of their people and they invest in them. And this, for banks, this is a great way to invest in the learning of their force. And it, to me, also constantly valuing learning is also a retention tool because you pull people in and engage them on your team.
That's great. Thank you, Kim. Sean, what do you think?
Two reasons, Jack. Number one, simply because marketing changes at the speed of lightning. So you need to continually invest in the learning. And number two, it's building those relationships with your colleagues like Aaron and Kim and Beth, and also the relationships with the instructors who will be with you throughout your career.
That's great. Wrap it up, Beth. Why?
I want to make this very simple. Why would you not? There is nothing there's no negative to this. Everything there is positive. You're going to learn so much. You're going to have a wonderful time. This is 5 days of great leadership, relationships, and learning. And there's absolutely no reason not to go.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron McCormick, Kim Rampenthal, Sean Mason, Beth Siebert, these are examples of the kind of students that we get at the Sales and Marketing School. Thank you so much, all of you, for investing your time and sharing your expertise with us today. Thanks again.
Thank you,
for
Jack.
having me.
Thank you, Jack.
Well, so Jack Rants Live, what's this Jack Rants Live thing that we do? It's typically every Thursday, although, there are some days when our guests can't make it on a Thursday, and we'll do it on a Wednesday or a Friday. Next week, we're taking a week off, and July 30th, we've got the great Eric Cook, as Sean Mason mentioned. So we love doing these programs, and it all emanated from the Rant Pack, the hashtag Rant Pack. And where we, on a very regular basis, publish articles, share articles. We have guest contributors, and we talk about things that are focused on banking, whether it's marketing or sales leadership. So if you want to join, all you got to do is message me on LinkedIn. We got to be first degree connections to do that, and then say you'd like to join the hashtag Rant Pack. We'd love to have you. And again, these four bankers took time out of their day to talk to you about something that was really important to them. And I loved what Kim said. This is all about learning. This is all about taking your organization to the next level. And to Beth Siebert's point, why not? 50 students, October 4th through the 8th, Fluno Center, Madison, Wisconsin. Great environment, great instructors, and great learning. Thank you to Tim, to Aaron rather, and Kim, and Beth and Sean for joining us on this very special Jack Rants Live. Thank you. We'll see you on July 30th.